Well, I've got a number of dangerous options. I could jump in the hole, I could get teleported inside of a rock. But it is most curious. Yes. I see. Is he about to use it? Look at him standing up. This one is Kibenya, the water goddess. Nice to see an old friend out here. It's the one from that we saw at the beginning of the game. I know these symbols at her feet. They read as water, as we thought. The death goddess from the Emperor's graveyard, still weeping. This one seems to just be a head on a stack of barrels. This isn't a word I already know. I'll have to make a guess. Sight would be meaningless. Bird. Like as if her arms fell off, like she had wings and they're broken off of the statue. Plant seems correct because that's used in garden. Serpent? It could be serpent because no arms. That would make some sort of sense. Garden, land, maybe. I can still change my mind, but serpent? That would explain the lack of arms. Although it doesn't explain why the ancients worshipped snakes. Is her glyph hidden? This one seems to be giving something. Or maybe holding something. The giving goddess. Just one word. At least it's short. Love? It matches elements of flower, light, and sun. We already know what light is called, so it's not light. Love or sun. It's a lot like the other thing that I also thought might be sun. It could be sun. Sun. That'll do for now. That'll explain what it's giving. Dubious. This one's a tall god from the cratered moon. This one might be sky. So I was torn between sun and sky originally. It'd be similar to the word sun. If we think the other one's sun, then maybe this one is sky. I think that's correct. That confirms it. A sky god of sailing rivers. Of sailing and rivers. I don't recognize this one. God? Goddess? I can't tell. Perhaps it's supposed to be a child. These must have been placed here deliberately. To mark this god in particular? I wonder if behind all of these... Don't have to move all of them, just the ones that are right in the way. Yeah. There. More glyphs. That might tell us who this god is. Luxury? Heaven? Does heaven make sense? It could have been luxury, or heaven, really. The rock placements might be them praying. Mistress, I have completed my analysis of the Hopper Eye. I have sent test packets through and analyzed the minor refractions. I would like to leave now, Mistress, but I cannot hopper us from under the rock. You have obtained 5 promising artifacts here. It would seem the site was connected to the others. I'd like to activate the hopper now, Mistress. What's the matter? Are you going to tell me what that hopper does? I observed 2 things about the hopper. Individually, they are of trivial interest. Together they are, as we feared. Just tell me. This eye is flawed, Mistress. Internal cracking means it can only refract some of the information passed to it. Specifically, the physical matrix is not refracted. If used, only the neural mesh would disentangle. Surely a neural mesh is physical. Please, Mistress. Hoppers are old, complex technology. It would be embarrassing for either of us to pretend to understand it in detail. Perhaps we could head towards the gate, Mistress. Shall I use the hopper again, Mistress? We've still more to do here. What's the second thing about the hopper? The other thing, Mistress. This hopper is not broken. It has been carefully engineered to function this way. But what good is a neural mesh without a physical matrix? Maybe they brought a matrix with them. That sounds like an execution method. Perhaps so. Could a neural mesh be stored? The recording I saw in the graveyard was... Oh, it's a copier. We saw her face. No, we did not. We saw a mask stored within her holographic projector. Just as my face is not my own. What good is a hopper like that? I am not sure, Mistress. I can only see one purpose for it. A way to imprison people, permanently. A way to bottle them. So the recording I met in the graveyard was here. Some time ago. And they used that thing to do it. Someone did this to an empress. Stored her in that foil we found. On her deathbed, perhaps? What happened to her body? It will have been lost as entropy, Mistress. In a very real sense, Mistress, it would have returned to the rivers. So at first it seemed like maybe... It might have seemed like people were being copied into AI, which is an intuitive thing to do. But instead they're being killed in the process and physically stored in these recording things. And that's what they did to put them in those graves, I guess, is they create the memory by actually killing the person in the moment, it seems, ripping their neural patterns right out of their body, and then there's just a body. And so that's why he's freaking out so bad, is because he was here, and it's probably where he died. I think they said that he was in a chair. They put something on his brow, and then I think they said he was tied down. He was tied. So he was being held captive, and then he was executed. And then put in this body. There's something in the stone here. Never seen anything like it. It's a device of some kind. 6, what do you make of it? Evidently it is old, mistress. Evidently it is very old. Tell me something specific, robot. I would estimate the metal in this piece to be almost 2,500 years old. Another artifact from the Great Forge Oroi mentioned? It is possible. But we still do not know where the forge is, or even if it existed. Is this lined up with the eye? This is aligned to the hopper eye? I believe it is a hopper source. Yes, mistress. A sort of emitter. Although it is clearly defunct. One of her options to say was that that's impossible. And I'm like, why would it be impossible? The source appears to be aimed directly at the hopper eye, mistress. Why would something being old be impossible? You're finding stuff right now. Why can't people in the old days have also found stuff and moved it and put it in their buildings and so on? Like, just because something is here that's older than it should be doesn't mean that it's actually a breakthrough. They could have just also found it. I've never seen ancient symbols scrawled like this. Written in charcoal, I think. It's like the logical fallacy of the idea that, like, those are weird symbols. Those are weird symbols. My word for they, but I don't know the word for they for sure, so that's worrying. It's like the logical mistake of assuming that anything, like all museums, are new. Like, a museum could be old. Think about that. We didn't suddenly invent museums recently. Presumably. Do not 153. More 100 20 10 and them 40 20 16. Okay, so they're screaming numbers at me. This must be the numbering system, which we haven't necessarily learned. And if I think it's similar to they, that makes me wonder if it's not one, but I don't know. It could be they referring to like someone else but is a one. Oh, fuck. 116. That's a hell of a guess. I don't know. We need to find evidence of numbers. I'm fairly sure those two are numbers. What they're meant to signify, I have no idea. Shall I use the hopper again, mistress? Don't you dare. I have plans. Your concern just highlights how much I do need to investigate. Yeah, those seem like they were numbers. It's gone. There's nothing more. The voices are gone. What do you think they were? Who? Friends. Children. A whole life's worth. By voices, he means the memories that were coming back. Wait here, 6. I'll be back. Mistress, please. Do you really have to? No, ma'am. Oh, she ate shit. Look at her go. There was like a compass or something. Why didn't you grab it? It stood out so much. Am I not supposed to get that item?
Empty, cold, stale air.
There's a lot down here. What is this place? What was down here worth taking?
A cavernous space all around me.
Aliya, what have you found? Difficult to make out. Was this a treasure vault? You could store vast amounts here. This isn't Renba's mysterious vault, surely. What was that? I'm sure I heard something. Sure of it. Is this going to be the collapsing rock we heard about? I kicked a stone. That was the noise. Definitely not something moving around down there. I mean, that... I seem to be whispering. There's more graffiti here. More charcoal glyphs. These ones look more promising than the last, I think. Whoa. This one's several words. But yeah, when I saw those things before, they definitely seem like numbers because they're minor variations of each other, and it's probably a date or some kind of total. But without seeing more information about the numbering system, we can't really get much from it. It's going to be a challenge. Palace of Goddess Will? Those aren't the symbols for goddess at all. Bye-bye. Complex concepts. Masters. Princes. Rivers. Soldiers. The Palace of Princes will ascend? But there's an X. As if to not go up. The Palace of Princes will fall. The opposite of up. Since I think that I is up, but there's an X to indicate opposite. Palace of Princes will fall. The Palace of Princes? Is that this place? Or somewhere else? There's only one place that fell so far as I know about. And that was on Iox. Unless it means this place. This space is huge. And so cold. We must go right the way down to the core. What, the core of the planet? How small are these planets? I don't like it down here one little bit. They do seem pretty small. Like planets that have one location on them small. This place is so big that's gonna be hard to be completionist about it. Ramps. No stairs. Easy now, don't want to fall. It was designed for him to be able to traverse it. I'm not gonna check absolutely everywhere, that'd be a wild process. No, seriously, what was that? I definitely saw something moving. Maybe I should check where what the light has. Nothing should be alive here. Oh, where's she going? Oh, I guess if you get set on a ramp, she just goes. The noise is gone now, I think. This place was built for robots. They were buried in here. This is a palace after all. But a palace for them. Underground. Out of sight. The hologram I saw in the graveyard was right. I wonder if there's a chamber like this under Iox somewhere. This isn't a good idea. These walkways are steep and narrow, and who knows what's down there. Are you forcing me to leave? I didn't get a chance to look. How bad could it be down there? Wow, she's leaving. This chamber was sealed up. The underground room had no way in or out. The robots were kept down there. But then someone let them out. They really were buried. Like they were all prisoners. Would they really not even let me look down there? We came this far. There's nothing down here but darkness. Is she taking like the super long way out? They're really gonna taunt me with this place and not let me look down there. Okay. I guess that's that. I'm not allowed to go any further. The hopper eye must have been the only way in to the palace below. Whoever built this place was burying robots alive. But not like they were buried on Iox. Not simply bricked up in the walls. I'm coming back, 6.
There was something down there. I'm sure of it.
I still don't get to look at the shiny thing. It won't let me. Let's get out of here. Be ready, mistress. This distressingly implies that instead of the already lowly, rough state of being a slave, the robots were instead just imprisoned in that state to torment them. I was thinking about the cratered moon with the ramp 6. The whole site was designed to be run by robots. I wonder if there was a period before the Holy Ioxian Empire when robots were commonplace? When they ran things, even. Sounds pitiless. People at the mercy of the whims of an ethical core. Statistically, it is very sensible. A large number of robots can comfortably control, maintain, and organize society, leaving humans free of that burden. Although I admit there would likely be problems in individual cases. Let's start sailing. I will prepare the sheets, mistress. The sail site's way out there now. What the heck's going on over there? We have not figured this out. Six has triangulated the network of telescopes. We've pinpointed a location in the cloudy, murky reaches of the distant nebula. Is this great distance the darkness that Remba's ghost meant? Found a piece of book bound in wood and sextant that somehow crossed the gulf to space to be found. Without a river to sail on, the journey of the site is impossible. I could look this region and try to pick up more artifacts to figure out the site's present location, or I could investigate other leads. So, she said pinpoint. I just want to point out, like, it's not what the word pinpoint means at all. Look at how big this fucking area is that it could potentially be in. Can I get here? An eclectic series of ancient artifacts, most notably Toppy's curious metal sphere, pointing to the age of sail, something from the age buried in the ship of Renba's, a lost city perhaps? Okay, took a few confirmations for the A to confirm. This one might be a long haul. But here we go. Oh. The Robot Empire 6. If we assume for a moment that there was one. It didn't survive. An empress took over. The Steel Empire ended, and the Ioxian Empire began. As for the robots, they were buried under the plaza in the Withering Palace. A few robots must have been kept around by the Emperors. Places like the site of the Withering Palace, where they couldn't do any harm. I'm not sure if she's fully clocked the idea that Six was alive when she was here, when he was here, most likely. The structure is barely intact, mistress. The rivers have stripped this place clean. I have not found anything for a while. I wonder if there a little RNG, or you'll have to get X amount and then you're kind of done. Is it possible to alter gravity itself? That was weird. There was arrows, but not seemingly a fork. The way you said. Indeed it is, mistress. In fact, it is necessary. When you said necessary, what did you mean by that? Slightly agonizing cadence of conversation where it's slow enough that I feel like there's gaps to fill, but takes long enough that I can't. The strength of gravity between two objects is known quantity, mistress. But the gaps are short enough that I can't actually functionally get much talking done. Evidently, it is based on the separation and the masses of those objects. But most moons in the nebula are thin sheets of rock. They do not have enough mass to exert the gravity that they do. So we were discussing now that the gravity makes no sense in this game because all the rocks are too small. Something within the rock must therefore increase the gravity. If anything, it's nonsensical that the worlds look like they look flat. But momentum cannot be simply created. By which I mean the planets look too big. Therefore, an increased gravity in one location could be countered by a lessening elsewhere. The crystals. Including the ones Remba found on the hatch of that buried ship. They do not reduce gravity, mistress. Rather, they have been induced to contain an absence of it. Anti-gravity crystals. Are they done talking? I was thinking that, like, for how small the planets are, you think you'd see the curvature of them, like in Outer Wilds. So it's weird that they all look flat. But I guess they did say a line that all the moons are just thin sheets of rock. So maybe they are just actually flat. maybe it's a whole universe of flat Earths. So the Mazwai were found down there. That we found down there. That was the book, right? We found like the first edition. If it's not from Iox, where is it from? I believe the text is new, but the paper and binding is old, mistress. A new story printed on an old book? The pages have been scraped to provide a new surface, upon which the Mazwai text has been written. And where does the binding and paper of the Mazwai come from? The same side as the compass. Somewhere ancient. There appears to be a trail in the water. So we're back to poking around at these places. Bloop. What's wrong with the river here? The currents in this region are unusually weak. Doesn't this happen all the time? The rivers here are losing their integrity. Maybe the ancients used to maintain these? Perhaps this is how the Age of Sail site was lost. My findings suggest that the Age of Sail site is around here. Well, I'm going now. Why does this work sometimes? There's something up ahead. I'll activate the hopper now, mistress. I went so fast. I can't tell when it's going to happen. An Age of Sail site. The spatial calculator Toppy gave me was fashioned here, I think. So this is all tied to me doing a trade before...
A single rocky peak was topped by a gleaming ruin.
If that globe thing led to me getting here, then I can be more confident that it was a good idea to trade for.
Like a half-cut gemstone.
This place is falling apart. We could have arrived too late. Oh, someone's here. Mistress, did you see that? I didn't see anything. I thought I saw, but no. It was nothing. That was a person. What did you think you saw, Six? I thought I saw. I must have been mistaken. A walled city. It hardly seems large enough. It might be possible to scramble up. No, mistress. One slip and you would be heading down rapidly. Oop. These tiles are beautiful. What I get for trying to wander off immediately. Gotta wait for the prompts to spawn. No doubt Toppy would be interested, mistress. We'll look around a bit then. Come back this way if we get stuck. Thank you, mistress. Based on that, I will hopper you immediately, as soon as you become even slightly stuck. Remember when he threatened to cut me in half with a hopper? You think Toppy came here? Got the brass device from here? It seems unlikely, mistress. I do not believe Master Toppy likes to dirty his own hands. We can go around this way.
Slipped around the corner of the great building, clinging to the narrowest of paths.
No, I didn't. The drop is precipitous. How is it possible you remembered the Withering Palace? I think I must consider the matter more. Maybe Oroi could help you. I do not want your friend poking around inside my core. I am well aware of what happened to my predecessor in that shop of hers. Would you allow a Mercian pig slaughterer to perform a heart operation on you? Alright, Judgy. There's a break in the wall. Too high for you? Indeed, mistress. But I believe I have an alternative. Six? Where are you going? Gonna try to teleport in through the broken wall? Well? Found anything? Nothing. I'll go by myself then.
And for a moment, the site seemed only quiet instead of empty. Like I might walk around a corner and find someone painting, or reading, or watching the sky.
That sure looks like a tended garden.
Of course, there was no one here. And when the emptiness came back, it was double.
This feels too orderly of a garden to be hundreds or thousands of years old. Oh. It's quite a view from here. You can see forever. Except for the clouds making it so you can't see anything. All the way to the nebula's end. So ornate. So decorative. It's wild how small the nebula is. I feel like we're going to find out that the entire world, the entire universe, or the nebula, I guess, is just, like, it was just Earth. Just broke apart. People lived on the pieces of it. Something was removed from here. That was a good example of me not knowing what X is going to do, because there's two options. But there's no way to tell what. 6? Where are you, 6? Have you actually abandoned me this time? Does Toppy's device fit here? There are no connections on the base. It's too small. Must have been something bigger. This place looks like Renaki. If Renaki was left to fall into ruin, that is. This place is looking pretty good. There's potted plants everywhere. Is this fallen into ruin by your standards? There's the snake goddess. What was this place? A statue. With no arms. The serpent. Seems about right. That side has a piece broken off, but the other side doesn't, so it's probably not missing arms. There's an inscription. Oh boy. There's a few words in this one. I am not translating this one for shit. Look at this. Or we are. All is blah in blah. All is joyful in darkness. All is fair in trade. In bite. Unkind. Hold of toward. Does have a person icon. It might be trade. Seems like a bit of a leap. All is fair in trade? A market god, perhaps? So this place is a market? Wasn't market one of the options instead of snake? Whoops. Some kind of symbol. But I know that shape well enough. The eagle and sun. Like the original brooch. So this is an Empire period site. It doesn't look like an Empire site. Unless the eagle and sun symbol predates the Empire. This could be a market. Seems reminiscent. Oh yeah, he's in there. Yep. What's that? I really hope it's not a snake. Where have you got to, Six? Did you go chasing your ghost? A rope. Leading up to the next floor of this place. There might have been stairs here once. The entire mountain's tumbling away. Reminds me of what happened to 4. Feels pretty firm. How anyone got up there to tie it, I don't know. Maybe back when it was reasonable to get up there? 6 would hate me even looking at this. But that's just jealousy. This one box is blocking me. This place doesn't just look like Renaki. It worked like it too. Stand selling goods. This one books, that one bread. People milling along the colonnade, browsing, talking. The air thick with shouts and haggling. I don't think she's gonna. I don't think she clams up. Not quite. A stall or a bedroom? Little openings then. They're shop fronts. So this was a store. There's tons of them. This one's a whole area. The central passage. 6? Is that you?
At the building's heart was a domed chamber. Every footstep rang like a bell. And the room was large, like it was larger than the walls that held it. Like a whole other moon was contained inside this room.
6? What are you doing, 6? You left me. I had to. I saw something. It led me here. Again. Again? Indeed, mistress. I know this place, mistress. I have been here many times. How can you remember anything? You can barely remember Renbo waking you up. I do not know, mistress. This seems to keep happening to me. I do not know how to understand what is in my mind. You're a robot, 6. Either you know something or you don't. I agree, mistress. In theory. And yet... and yet... I remember. I remember a king. A king with an Iolite crown. His judgments were fair. He was much loved. But his daughters schemed against him. Each daughter thought he loved another more. Resentment festered, until each killed him in a different way. Slow poison, a knife in the back. But the youngest daughter's method was the cruelest. She hoppered her father into a crack in the palace stonework. She became queen, but she never found any pleasure in it. She was plagued by her father's voice inside the walls, berating her for her flaws. It makes no sense, mistress. How could I have seen all that? It sounds like nonsense. Perhaps it is. Perhaps my core is failing. Perhaps I am going insane. Is there anything else? Yes. You see, then I remember a woman, shipwrecked. She lay here, on this floor, dressed only in rags. She carved her name into the boards torn from her ship, which would never sail again. She tossed them into the rivers, hoping to be rescued. That's enough, Six. This is like listening to a grandmother on Harvest Day. They're dreams. Do you dream, Six? I do not believe so, mistress. But how would I know for sure? Do you even sleep? Not since I was activated, mistress. But before then, I suppose I was asleep for a long, long time. How did you get in here? There was a hopper eye. It was a trivial matter. Wow, the footsteps are loud. Getting hoppered into the wall. Oh. This is a little like the statue outside, the sun goddess. This one's a lot smaller than the ones we've seen before. This has got to be a temple space. You can feel it. The hush. The quiet. This place must have once held hundreds. I cannot feel anything, mistress, but I do observe a room with a large capacity and meticulous acoustics. An excellent location for singing. Good faith. Listen to the echo. This room was built for that. Goddess, but you're made of wood. Painted to look like stone. Is there a wellspring here? There must be, mistress. There is plenty of air. Wellsprings being the source of air instead of plants. A sort of mysterious force that creates life. Or enables it. Curtains. No. A doorway. I suppose the priest would materialize from here. Let's see where this goes. Oh, she's booking straight through this room.
The far side was open to the wind and the dark.
An axe. Somebody was working their way through the trees for firewood. There must have been someone here. Yes, definitely. It definitely seems like somebody is here. We saw them already, but she's piecing it together. Oh, fresh fruit, neatly stocked from somewhere. But if this is fresh, Someone must be living here. Perhaps they grew on the trees? But there aren't that many trees. This is a lot of fruit. By the goddess. Tread lightly, Aliya. A sculpture. Made of sticks, shoes, a coffee pot. Something like... Was her shadow backwards? Oof. I was never any good at dancing. Yeah, so someone's definitely currently here. But where's the fruit coming from if they're not harvesting from the garden? Egads, it's that one block that stopped me from going here and I had to do all that instead. Why not just make the hallway more collapsed instead of placing one box? It's very goofy. There's the fruit. So when are we going to meet the tenant? Really? Really? Maybe now that I've seen the evidence that there's been somebody here, they're going to reveal themselves on the way back? Or I can't go back. Oh, it's over here. It's hard to see the staircase. I should get back to 6. Before the robot starts telling another story. Mistress. You're so dismissive of him. Perhaps there is no more to see here, mistress? I do not wish to stay any longer than necessary. You're not interested in remembering anymore? I can remember at my leisure, mistress. But there is nothing here to see. From within this chamber, I cannot activate the hopper, mistress. Perhaps from the courtyard outside. Stairs? No. Seating. I've not seen this arrangement in a temple before. Temple seating is usually more clearly hierarchical, to allow important people to sit closer to the gods. Could be a temple. Where are you going, mistress? Why are humans so keen to climb? It could be a temple, but could also just be a, it could also just be like a theater. It's in the market. Some kind of chest. Or an auction. It's beautifully made. There's a sword in here. Very light. Same as the goddess. It's made of wood. Okay. It's a stage. There's an inscription down the middle of the blade. Since it's in a market, I thought it might be an auction stage, but it's a performance stage. They have props. Oh boy. Help. Just gonna start poking anything I can find. It's a long one. There's no bowls, so this one's dead to me. Oh, this one. There's a person, but that person icon doesn't have a crook next to it. I've already put gods up there anyway. So we have a comma. Oh, there we go. I'm convinced that my translation for May is right now. May gods demand or guide... Yeah, may the gods guide your performance? Swing. Swing would make a lot of sense. It's a sword. Decision, though? I don't know, that's a very distressingly long word. I'm wondering if other players have pieced together more of the language's logic by now, and I'm kind of slouching. Oh, but of course, this isn't a temple. This is a theater. That's why the things are made of wood, yeah. Some kind of performance. I'm assuming they're not just dueling up here. A theater. So my memories are only stories. They seem so real. Must have been good actors. But when was this? Hundreds of years ago? So he had seen performances here. Probably. Them being made of wood suggests that. It's a lack of significance you would give at, say, a temple or any kind of palace type place. It's lightweight for being, because you have to move it on and off the stage, both the statue and the sword and all that, and you know, not actually hurt people and all that. All right.